Hello everyone, great to see you here. Today I will answer one of the questions about my free plant propagation process. It's because after I showed in my videos how I successfully propagate Anubias and Bucephalandra, I often got asked, does it work for moss? And what kind of moss? So I decided to run a little experiment and see for myself. I tried with many different types and the results are already here. So, if you want to create your own moss factory that will produce endless moss for you, stick around, because I will show entire process step by step. And at the end, I will show you a small surprise. It's really something cool. As always, I will try to be very direct and focus only on the facts, to not waste your time. To start our propagation system, you will need few basic things. First of all, a container. Something like that will be perfect. Two things about it are important. First, it needs to have transparent lid. It cannot be painted, colored, or have any stickers. Second, it's better if it's quite shallow. Having very tall container doesn't give you anything, but it will reduce the amount of light hitting your plants. As you can see, my container is quite big, because I want to test lots of different moss types. But it will work the same with smaller sizes. Next thing you will need is something that can hold your moss. I like this kind of grids for that. They are 3D printed and I got them online, and they are working great for me. I like them because they can be opened and I can put my moss inside to keep it in place. But they are not absolutely needed. For instance, I was also using this kind of plastic mesh that I cut into pieces and connected together with zip ties, and it also worked great for me. So just be creative and use any materials you have. I will explain exactly how in a second. But now let's talk about our starter plants. Because there is a lot of different types of moss, I decided to test as many as I can get, and I was able to get 6 different ones. I was quite lucky here because I was able to buy very small portions. So today we are testing Spiky, Peacock, Weeping, Taiwan, Flame and Christmas Moss. If there are any more you want me to test, let me know in the comments, because I can totally do that. Okay, quality of those plants is not exactly perfect, but the amount will be just fine. I think that I'm not even going to use all of it. And of course, you can always use moss that you already have in your tank. Just take a small piece of it and you're good. So here's the plan. I will use 6 of those grids for 6 different moss types. And I want to spread them like that. And there's a reason for that. But I will explain in a second why. Now, let's fill those grids with moss. All you need to do is divide your moss into small portions and spread it across your grid. Just like that. You don't have to be precise or delicate. There is no gluing on anything like that. That's the beauty of that system. Now, close it down and you're done. Yes, I know this grid is not available for all of you, but you can really just cut any kind of plastic mesh and connect it together. Look at this example from my different project. Principle is exactly the same. Moss in the middle and this plastic grid on both sides. That part is the surprise I mentioned at the beginning, and I will come back to it. But anyway, after you place the moss in the middle, put it in the container and repeat the same process with other types of moss. Spread it across in small portions, close it down, and you're done. So after I was done with all of them, this is what we got. Now coming back to the placement of those grids. You see, this is not my first time doing this. And I noticed that when I'm growing them this way, with those grids placed at an angle, I get better results. It's because water is dripping down from those grids, and our moss stays very damp and moist, but it's not submerged into stagnant water on the bottom. It's important because of the next step, spraying. This is water with fertilizer in it. Both macro and micro is in there, and it's very rich in nutrients. With those grids placed like that, this nutrient-rich water will flow through this moss, but in the end it will drip into the bottom. And this is exactly what we want. Otherwise, there is a big risk of algae, rot and different problems, and we don't want that. It's just so much easier this way. Now I have to cover it, put it in a well-lit place or under cheap LED, and we are done. This container will keep the humidity very high and our moss will not dry out. Now all we need to do is spray the bit with nutrient-rich water every 4, maybe 5 days. That's it. It really is that simple. So let's see how it goes. And only after 2 weeks I can already show you small progress. Check it out. There is moss growing through those grids already. It's not perfectly visible, I know, but it's definitely growing. Look at this angle. Okay, this is very promising, but it's not what you came here to see. So let's jump ahead. And this is only after 6 weeks from the start. There you go. It grows like crazy. It's actually better than you might think, because at this angle you don't see the real progress. Check it from this side. Would you look at that? What a great result! Very dense, green, looks very healthy. Almost all of them. Of course, growth speed depends on how much we put in there and also on the type of moss. And you can see that they do grow in the different ways. But in general, it just works. There's your proof. You can grow crazy amount of algae-free moss in very simple way. When I was showing you how I'm growing Anubias and Bucephalandra, it took me months to show you the progress and a year for a final result. But this is 6 weeks. And the best part is, now you can just cut the portion you need and put this grid back in here, and it will keep growing. It's an infinite supply of various moss types. All you need to do is just spray it with fertilized water, keep it closed and well lit. That's it. No algae, no rotting, no problem. And now coming back to my surprise. When I was showing you that you can use those kind of grids, you might ask why they are cut in those strange shapes. Well, it's because I wanted to create those kind of cones. Next, I placed them in a different container and treated them in the exact same way we have just described. Again, after 2 weeks I saw some first growth, and after 2 months I got this. It's Christmas moss. But again, why the shape? Well, like I said, it's Christmas moss, right? So I made a Christmas tree from it. There is another proof if you needed one. It works with many different types, different materials, different containers, and you can even create different shapes from it. How crazy is that? As you can see, propagating moss is not only easy, but it's also very quick. It's a really reliable method and works with many different types of moss and requires very little work from your side. And remember the final thing, moss doesn't melt. It's such a good plant to be propagated this way. If you want me to propagate different types of plants, let me know in the comments. I will be happy to test it for you. If you don't want to miss any of my plant videos, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Let me know which moss you like the most and leave a like if you like the video. But for now, thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one.